Hello everyone, my name is Shivadashna and today I am going to present my internship project Order It MERN Stack Food Delivery web application. The main objective of this internship was to understand how a real world full stack web application is developed using the MERN stack. Before this internship, I know individual technologies, but I did not understand how they work together to build a complete application. During this internship, I learned how the front-end communicate with backend, how data is stored in a database, how authentication works, how online payment are integrated, and how AI features can improve a web application. This project is a food delivery platform where user can register, log in, browse restaurant, view menu, add food item to the cart, make payment through Stripe test mode, and view their order history. Throughout this internship, I also learned debugging techniques by solving real issues related to API communication, authentication, database connectivity, and front-end integration. The practical experience helped me understand the complete software development process rather than only writing the code. Now let me provide the overview of the project and explain the main purpose and key features. The goal of the project is to stimulate a real online food delivery application. Instead of creating separate small example for login, database or payment, this project combines everything into one application. A user can create an account, securely log in, browse available restaurant, open menu, add food items to a shopping cart, proceed to checkout, complete a secure payment using Stripe test mode, and finally view a order in my order section. From the development perspective, this project helped me understand how different modules interact with each other. For example, the card depends on menu data, the payment depends on card, and the order is created only after successful payment. I also understood how APIs connect the front end and back end, and how MongoDB store related data across different collections. Now let me explain the internship goal and learning outcome. The primary goal of this internship was to gain practical knowledge of a full stack web development. I wanted to understand not only how to create a web page but also how complete web application function behind the scene. During this project, I learned component based development using React, backend development using Node.js and Express.js, database management using MongoDB, REST API development, and JWT authentication and payment gateway integration. Another important learning outcome was debugging. Initially, several modules were not working correctly, such as registration, menu loading, API integration. By fixing this issue, I learned how to trace problem from the front end to the back end and database. This project improved both my coding skills and my understanding of software architecture. Let me explain the technology stack of this project. The project used the MERN stack. React is responsible for building the user interface. Every page the user interacts with, such as login, home, restaurant, menu, cart, and orders, is created using React components. Redux toolkit manage shared application state, such as the login user, restaurant data, menu, and cart information, allowing different components to access the same data efficiently. AXOS is used to send HTTP requests from the front end to backend APIs. The backend is developed using Node.js and Express.js. Express receive API request, process business logic, validate data, and communicate with the database. MongoDB store all project data, including the users, restaurant, menus, food item, carts, and orders. Mongoose defines schemas and relationship between these collections. JWT is used for secure authentication so that only authorized user can access protected resource. Stripe is integrated in test mode to stimulate secure online payment without using real money. Finally, Grow AI is integrated to generate food description and summarize restaurant reviews. Now let's understand how all these technologies work together through the system architecture. The system architecture explains how different components of this application communicate with each other to complete a user request. The project follows a three-layer architecture consisting of front-end, back-end, database. Each layer has a specific responsibility and together they provide the complete functionality of this application. The front-end layer is developed using React.js. This is the part of the application that user interact with directly. Pages such as login, home, restaurant, list, menu, cart, and my order are all built using React components. Whenever a user performs an action such as logging in, selecting a restaurant, or adding an item to the cart, React captures that action. However, React itself does not store permanent data. Instead, it sends an API request to backend using Axios. Backend. The second layer is a backend developed using Node.js and Express.js. The backend acts as a brain of the application. It receives requests from the front end, perform business logic, validate user data, authenticate users, process payment, and communicate with the database. For example, when a user clicks the login button, the backend verifies the email and password, generate a JWT token in the credential or valid, and send the response back to the front end. Similarly, when a user requests restaurant data, the backend fetches it from the database and return it to the JSON format. The third layer is a database, which is MongoDB. MongoDB stores all the application data in collections such as user, restaurant, menu, food item, carts, and orders. Instead of keeping everything in one place, the application stores related information in separate collection and connect them using object ID reference. This makes the data organized and avoid duplicates. Apart from this three layer, the project also integrates external service. Stripe is used for secure online payment in test mode. When a user proceeds to check out, the backend creates a Stripe checkout session. After the payment is complete, Stripe returns a session ID which the backend verify before creating the order. The project also integrates the Grow AI API used to generate food description and summarize restaurant review. Let us see the application workflow. The workflow begins with user registration and login. After successful authentication, the user can browse restaurant and open any restaurant to view its menu. Food item can be added to the cart. When user can review their selected item before proceeding to checkout. During checkout, Stripe securely processes the payment in test mode. Once the payment is successful, the backend verifies the payment, create a new order, remove the cart from the database, and store the order details. Finally, user can view all the previous order through the My Order page. The workflow helped me understand how multiple modules communicate with each other to complete one business process. Let me explain the key modules used for this project. The application consists of several important modules. The user modules manage registration, login, authentication, and the profile information. This keeps their every profile secure and the secure login is done. The restaurant module display available restaurant and menus and views rating and review information. The cart modules allow user to add food item, update quantities, and calculate the total amount. The payment module integrates Stripe checkout to stimulate secure online payment. The order modules store completed orders and allow user to view their order histories. These modules work independently but communicate through REST API and the MongoDB database. All the data are securely stored, and when a user login, the login is always secure. Let me explain the AI features. Artificial intelligence is becoming an important part of modern web application because it helps user to automate tasks and improve the user experience. In this project, AI is integrated using the Grow API to provide two intelligent features. The first feature is AI review summary. Normally, when user have to read many customers' review before deciding whether to order from a restaurant. To make this easier, the application analyzes the available review and generate a overall sentiment key summary point and the most frequently mentioned topic. This allows user to quickly understand customer feedback without reading every individual review. The second feature is AI food description generation. When an admin create a new food item, instead of manually writing a description, the application sends the food detail to the group API. The AI then generates a professional and attractive food description automatically. Through this feature, I learned how to integrate third-party AI API into the MERN application. I understand how the front-end sender request to the backend, how the backend securely communicate with the AI service using an API key, and how the generated response is returned to the front end displayed to the user. Now, I'd like to share the challenges I faced during the internship. During this internship, I faced several practical challenges, and each one helped me understand how a real world full stack application works. One of the first challenge was during user registration. Initially, the registration process failed because the image uploaded from the front end exceeds the backend payload size limit. By analyzing the request and backend configuration, I understood how front end requests are validated before reaching the database. Another challenge was displaying restaurant menu and food item. At one stage, the application showed empty menu because the restaurant menu food item collection were not properly linked. While fixing this issue, I learned how MongoDB collection are connected using object ID reference and how Mongoose use populate function to retrieve related data. I also worked on debugging authentication and API communication. This helped me understand how React sends requests using XCOS, how Express control process those requests, and how the backend return data to update the user interface. Integrating Stripe payment was another important learning experience. I understand how a secure checkout session is created, how Stripes verify payment in test mode, and how a successful payment result in creating an order, storing it in MongoDB, and clearing the user card. I also learned how AI can integrate into web application using the Grow API. I implemented AI-based review summarization and automatic food description generation. This helped me understand how external AI service can be securely integrated through backend API. Overall, this internship taught me more than the programming. Finally, I like to conclude my presentation by summarizing the overall outcome of this internship project. In conclusion, the internship provided me with valuable hands-on experience in developing a complete MERN stack web application from front-end to back-end. Through this project, I gained practical knowledge of React.js, Node.js, Express.js, MongoDB, Redux, JWT authentication, Stripe payment integration, and AI API integration. More importantly, I learned how this technology worked together to build a complete real-world application. I also improved my debugging and problem solving skills by identifying and resolving issues related to the authentication, API communication, and database relation and application overflow. This experience helped me understand not only how to build features but also how to analyze and fix real world software problems. Overall, this internship strengthened my confidence in full stack development and gave me a clear understanding of software architecture. Thank you for your time and attention. I will now demonstrate the complete working of this application through a live demo. In this demonstration, I will showcase the complete user workflow, including user authentication, restaurant and menu browsing, cart management, Stripe test payment, and order tracking. First, I start the backend server by opening the backend project in the terminal and running the npm start command. This start the Express and establish the connection with the MongoDB database. Next, I open another terminal for front end. Then I am going into the front end. I am going into the directory of front end. After I'm coming into the front-end folder, I am executing the npm run dev command. This start the React application using Vivid Development Server. I am now entering the generated local URL localhost 5173 into the Google Chrome. Homepage display the available restaurant stored in MongoDB database. Each restaurant card contains the restaurant image, name, customer reviews, rating, and total number of reviews. To improve the browsing experience, the application provides different sorting options. First, I switch to the Git review, show all. Next, sort by reviews. Then, sort by rating, which arrange restaurant based on the number of customer reviews. Application also include an AI-powered review summary feature. Instead of reading every customer review individually, user can click review summary to see an AI-generated overview containing the overall sentiment, important summary points. Now I will demonstrate the user authentication module of this application. First I click the login option. I'm going to create a new user. I'm giving username as demo user and I'm giving an email for the user. Next, let's give a password for this demo user. Let's confirm the password. Then a phone number for the demo user. Next, let's register. Once the registration is complete successfully, here I missed out the @ symbol. Okay, let's put the symbol. Then let me register. Once the registration is success, the user is stored in MongoDB. Let's log in again to check whether the registration is stored correctly in MongoDB or not. Let's give the user email. Okay, let me give the password for this demo user. The login is successful. Now I will demonstrate the complete food ordering workflow. From the home page, let me browse one restaurant and choose that restaurant. Here it's displaying every menus. Here the biryani section, all the sections are separated. Let's choose 2 items. Let me add to cart. We can also increase or decrease the product as our wish. Let me choose another product. Then if we check carts, the item will be displayed. Let's check the price by decreasing and increasing the quantities. Everything is properly working. Let's move to the checkout page. Here we are. The Stripe checkout page is open. The secure payment gateway. Since the project is Stripe in test mode, I enter a sample customer detail and the Stripe test card information. Let me give a demo user name. Let me choose the address that I have previously used for checking purpose. Then let me give a sample mobile number. Then a sample card number, for example, let's give 4242. Then card expiry date. For sample, we are giving some date, random dates, and random CV number. We can save this information if we want. It will be displaying when we come to this page afterwards. So after the processing, Once the payment is completely successful, Stripe verifies the transaction and redirect to the user back to the application. Finally, I open my order page where the newly placed order displays successfully along with the payment status, delivery detail, order item. This complete the end-to-end. This conclude the demonstration of MERN stack food delivery application. We have successfully demonstrated the complete workflow, including user registration and login, restaurant browsing, AI review summary, menu selection, cart management, Stripe test payment, and order tracking. Thank you for your time and attention. Presented by Shivadarshana.